Hi, Chef Cheyne here, and we're going to make a mega quick tomato sauce. A few lessons here. We're going to make the sauce and with an onion demo and a garlic demo. First, mise en place. We want to get everything ready. Secondly, then we want to get it to the next stage of ready. In that case, we're going to make a spice mixture. I've got all my spices here. Goes salt, pepper, basil, oregano, garlic powder, onion powder. And then here's the alternates, the additional spices, which would be thyme, bay leaf, which you have to remove before you puree. And the secret ingredient, which really is great, gives the umami flavor, is the anchovies. So I'm going to make a little mix of this. I'm just going to measure it in my hands. Not that much. And then I'm going to put it away here. So it's a half a teaspoon of each. And we have in this kitchen here, we have a station set up for all the spices. And you can just kind of make your spice mix at the station. So before you start, you want to make sure you have all of your mise en place. And in this case, it's going to be secondary mise en place, which in this case is the spice mix. Notice I'm putting it all in a teeny little ramekin. And I am going to go with the extra bonus ingredient of thyme. Thyme usually takes a little longer to cook than a lot of the other spices, so I'm really careful with the thyme. I'm going to go with a single bay leaf. They're beautiful. And then we are going to go with some anchovies, which I have an open can over here. So that's my initial mise en place. The next is I want to get my tomato mise en place, which is a can. Preferably a can of diced tomatoes. I don't even know if I have one here. But we don't really have enough diced tomatoes for the whole class today. So instead, we're going to be using, I'm going to be using tomato puree. And one can, no one probably knows. Anyone know how big a can is? How many ounces? A really random thing. It's 14 ounces, and I don't know why. So I'm going to put 14 ounces of tomato puree. Right there. So now, tomato puree is really thick, and diced tomatoes are somewhat thin. So today I'll be using tomato puree, but I'll be thinning it with some water. So I've got that mise en place kind of ready to go. Additionally, we're going to be doing a splash of balsamic vinegar. In that case, I'm going to go ahead and splash it in right now into my tomatoes. Boom. Now, once you hit 21 years old, and with your parents' permission before, well, it's not up to me, you can use red wine. That would be the typical recipe. But oh my gosh, at Boulder School, I can't do that. But I want to say that you can pretty much use any tomato product. Even a can of tomato paste. So if you go to a ski trip and there's nothing to eat for dinner but some random pasta and a can of tomato paste, you can make this dish. So I'm going to clean up all my mise en place here. Additionally, we've got sugar, brown sugar in this recipe. So I'm going to get that ready. Let's see, how much is it? A tablespoon. Okay. Yeah, that's a tablespoon right there. All right, so here's all my initial mise en place. My oil for sauteing. Really getting closer, so I'm going to do the demo for garlic. I've soaked the garlic in water. That's a great trick. So we're really starting to use knives for the first time in this class. So everyone here, hold out your hands like this. Everyone, cock your elbows out to the right. Look where your fingers go, to the middle. Look how your thumb is now away from where all the action is. So if I'm here, I flip the knife inverted. I could easily chop my thumb. But by rotating my hand out, I get the claw, and my thumb is out of the picture, and my grabbing fingers are in the picture. So I have soaked this garlic in water for the sole reason of making it easier to take the skin off. It only takes a few minutes, and the skin comes right off. So again, I'm grabbing it with a claw, cutting here's the key word, the tips and tails off the garlic. There it is. Now I'm going to nick through the skin, just nick it, so that I can then kind of tear off the skin. Again, this is mise en place. Just having the garlic on the table was mise en place, but now I'm getting the secondary layer of mise en place. Anyone know, in a film, what do they call it when all things are in place in a film? Someone call it out.
Mise en scène.
Say again?
Mise en scène.
Mise en scène. Yep. So a filmmaker has the same thing. You can't go into a film, a bajillion dollars Hollywood production or Bollywood production, and not have everything ready. So I'm getting everything ready here. Not so happy with that clove of garlic. So this mise en place involves throwing away our debris. Okay, I haven't cut it yet because now comes the onion. Here's your onion. It has a tip and a tail. Perhaps one of the most important things I'll ever teach in this class. Grab it with a claw, elbow out. Kind of got to pinch it, and I'm going to saw the tip and tail off. And then I'm going to stand it upright. Now, I can hold it, but I don't need to. I'm going to cut it in half, and then I'm going to peel each half. Let me just kind of redo that. I'm going to lay it down, cut the tips and the tails off. Those are garbage. Then I'm going to stand it upright, cut it in half, and at this stage, I will peel off the skin. Okay, cool. This I will use for a different preparation later today. I'm going to keep my cutting board really tidy as much as I can. I'm looking really good here with my mise en place, except I have to finish the mise en place. I'm going to grab with a claw, and I'm going to slice the onion. I'm going to put the cut end towards me, and then slice it almost all the way through, and then rotate it. So cut in towards me. See, my thumb is safe with the claw. Each one of these is about a 1/4 inch, or a little less. Rotate it with a claw, and then I'm going to cut it the other direction, which will then put it into dice. Now the end always has a little extra undiced piece. I'll cut it right there. All right, and then I'm going to put that on a plate. All right, and then I'm going to take my garlic, again with a claw, I'm going to slice it large. Normally I would want it really minced, but we're going to puree this recipe with our immersion blender, so I really don't necessarily need it to be minced. Look where my elbow is, and my hand comes in from the side. At this stage I've got my burner on. I'm going to get it really ready to go, the proper heat. So this is called Mega Quick Tomato Sauce. It really is pretty quick. And as you can see, my mise en place. Here it is, my complete mise en place. All of my wet ingredients together, my dry ingredients, some water to thin it, and then my sauté ingredients. Get rid of my knife. This for stirring, this for putting it into the 8th pan. Now, if this is round, you would call it bain-marie. It's a French word, but this is an 8th pan. You'll see those obviously in Chipotle. This is getting pretty hot. We're going to let it get really hot. I'm going to be cooking probably on 8 or 9 temperature, that is, so pretty much really hot. And I am ready. I think I missed a small piece of mise en place. And here it is, a fork to get my anchovy out. So the anchovies, a very controversial ingredient, just about as controversial as pineapple on a pizza. But anchovies, I don't want to taste the anchovy. I just want to bring up the ambient flavor of the whole preparation. So if you can find an anchovy in your dish, you're like, it would really blow you away. We don't want that. We just want a bigger flavor in the whole dish. All right, so I've got a hot pan. Only when it's hot will I add my olive oil. Olive oil will add a nice flavor. And I'm going to go add my onions. And because they're sliced big, I can add my garlic. If it was sliced small or diced, it would burn before the garlic browned. But because it's large, it will not really burn. All right, we're going to let it saute here. All right, so this is going to take a few moments here. So let me just review. You want to have everything ready. Notice I made my dry ingredients first. And notice then I put away my dry ingredients. So if you're at home making this, put your basil in some sort of vessel, put your basil away. And then everything gets used and then put away. So really I'm ready to cook with a minimum of like clutter on the table. Now reviewing again, I'm using tomato puree because we have it in the storeroom. I would recommend you use diced tomatoes, it's kind of more wonderful. But because it's really thick, I'm going to have to thin it with some water. Okay, a little lesson in tossing here. I've got onions sauteed about 1/3 of the way. They're nice spread out throughout the pan. Let me see if I can get a shot of this, perhaps. So I rotate it, get all my ingredients to the front, and then I can pop it to the back. Now you guys, you should have a spoon. Maybe you don't, but you will before you start. They're right there. You don't have to flip it. You can use a wooden spoon. And I'm looking at this. I'm a little unsatisfied with the amount of olive oil. I think I added a couple tablespoons. I'm going to add a little more. Again, the olive oil adds a really terrific flavor. There's another trick. Here comes trick number 22B. If you have not used your entire can of tomato paste, put a plastic wrap on it, label the date, and put it in your freezer. It's just easy as that. In fact, over here, I've already taken the top off, or taken the plastic off, was a can of diced tomatoes that I used last week. I covered it, and I just froze it in the can. I might even put that today in my preparation because I like diced tomatoes a little bit. Now I want to cook this until it's slightly brown, which is really kind of a pain in the butt when it comes to video footage and timing, but that's just kind of how it goes here. Kind of pausing here. It's very quiet here. Everyone say, hi, Chef Cheyne.
Hi, Chef Cheyne.
Everyone make an animal noise. 3, 2, 1, animal noise, go. Okay, make a cow noise. 3, 2, 1, go. Make a dog noise, go. That was hard. Okay, cat noise. 3, 2, 1, go. See, but not a dog noise, huh? Interesting. Equal rights for dogs. Come on, equal rights for dogs. All right, so I'm going to come up. Maybe the camera can get this. It's starting to get browned a little bit. Translucent would be another word. You can see partially through them. And this is not like a deep marinara sauce where I might go for a deep brown. If this was a deep marinara sauce right now, I would deglaze it. That's an important word. Deglaze, add liquid. But because it's not a deep marinara sauce, I'm going to deglaze it with my tomato product. So this is exactly what I need. Measured out. Part of my mise en place is to have a scraper spatula to get the rest of it out. Now I am feeling frisky. I had some tomatoes that were diced. I'm going to put them in. And I'm going to stir it around here. Again, I kind of made an example of if you're at a ski cabin somewhere and you need a dinner fast, there's some random pasta and a random can of tomato paste. You could make this with any of those spices. You don't need them all. Now comes the anchovy. I'm going to put in 2. Rip them up. And ladies and gentlemen, so this sauce, it's going to cook for 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. It'll be done. In a perfect world, I cook this for 3 hours. The only thing I didn't do is thin it out. I'm going to add a little of this. And look, there's one other thing I haven't put in that I'm going to put in now. The flavorings. Here it comes. Bam. Stirring them in. All right, so take a look at this. We're going to cook this for as long as we can. Today, probably 5 to 10 minutes or so. And then we're going to take the immersion blender and blend it. I'll set up an immersion blending station. I was drying this on 9 or 10. I'm going to turn it down to halfway now, just because it splats all over. Okay, guys, so in a moment, I'll just say go. I want you to wash your hands. We're going to get going on the mise en place. Probably one of the first things you need to do is get a cutting board on your table on top of a wet cloth. Get a knife. Someone's going to get the spices. Someone will get the tomatoes. Someone will get the onions. And someone will get the garlic. And we'll get going on this. So without further ado, let's go, you guys. Let's have fun on this.